you so much for joining us on JNN's page in Doc.
Thank you for having me.
Great. When did you realize you had weight issues?
I realized the year was 1994. Yes, that's actually when I was in my first job as a computer programmer. And this is the New Kingston area. So you can just imagine working late nights, the only places that would be available, mostly fast foods. And of course I didn't mind at the time. So I think things got out of hand from there pretty much, because I was working like up to 1, 2 o'clock.
Did you come from the country?
No, I'm actually born raised in Kingston. I attended Woolmer's Boys.
You were very active from what I understand.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was actually always asked to be a part of the track team.
Oh, wow.
But I just had my fears, you know. But I was very good. I was very good with like track and field events, you know, shot with discus, 100 and 200 meters. Those were my best.
So when you started working now, you became more sedentary. When did the weight start to creep up?
It wasn't very long. It was almost within a year of working, because I really did enjoy what I do, and I would prefer to stay and work, you know, get the job done. So we find out that I'll be there up until late hours to ensure that the tasks were completed.
So when did you recognize that this was becoming a problem for you?
I started having problems sleeping, and I went to my doctor about it, because what happens is that I get up in the mornings feeling tired, and during work, as soon as I'm finished with lunch, we would have what is more popularly known as niggeritis. Oh my goodness, that was, you know, quite embarrassing.
So it didn't just happen on Sundays; it was happening during the course of the week as well.
I tell you, when about 2 weeks after she came from the hospital, she went back to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that you are the person that came in over a month ago. What happened?" And you know what? Don't bother saying anything. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
So how much did you weigh when you were at your heaviest?
At my heaviest, I was at 346 pounds.
And that was at the beginning of this year?
Yes, yes. From the end of this year coming right into the beginning, it was scary.
So the first set of food items that you got out of your diet, you got rid of from your diet were what? Sugars or?
Interestingly, it was more sugar than anything else. That was the first thing. When I went in and saw my doctor again, and he said to me that you need to cut off your sugars. And I'm like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, but all in my mind, you know, was just the brown sugar.
Right.
Because that was all I was thinking about. But and further reading and so on, previous reading as well, it came back to mind. Sugars are in so many different. It comes in so many different forms, you know. And even when you're just eating it, it might not be sugar at the time, but it becomes sugar later on. So I find out that I had to make all those adjustments, you know, especially the white stuff, as some people would call it, you know, white rice, flour. So what happened was that I was able to make that kind of adjustment, because all in my mind is that it has to be replaced by something else. So what do I eat instead? You know, I considered brown rice, but the suggestion was ground provisions. The doctor, yes, definitely. The doctor, in terms of the carbs, the doctor said one of the ground provisions I should actually focus on was like sweet potatoes. So I did just that, I pretty much cut out the eating of rice and all of that, and I noticed that change. It was small,
Right.
but it was encouraging.
Right. And how much weight did you lose on average per week?
I must tell you that for the first 2 or so months, I did not see any change. I would be unable to tell you per week, but I could tell you per month.
Per month?
Yes, because I got it still. So I noticed that I went down to 338.
Wow.
By about the end of February. I'm like, wow. Yes.
Your fruits and vegetables, I assume.
Yeah, most definitely. I increased the intake of fruits and vegetables, and I actually was able to replace sugar with sometimes with dried fruits like raisins, dried cranberries, and so on. And one of the interesting things I learned, I met upon a friend who she made oats porridge and she sweetened it with overripe plantains.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm like, wow, didn't I think, how is it that these things didn't even come to mind? Because, of course, I remember reading that plantains and bananas,
natural sugars,
especially when they get extra ripe, they pretty much become more sugary than anything else. And being natural sugars, I am thinking it's definitely more healthy than processed sugar. So I started to incorporate some of these practices.
And how much weight did you start to lose per month?
Per month, I noticed it was actually a little on and off, So I found out that I was going maybe about 5 pounds, roughly about 3 to 5 pounds. And there was a break. I had not touched the scale from about the end of May, somewhere thereabout, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that coming into July, the beginning of July, I noticed that I had gone down into the teens. I'm like 318, and I'm like, this is good. This is very good.
That motivated you even more.
Oh, most definitely. So I started increase my vegetable intake and my fruits.
What about exercise?
Interestingly, to some extent, I find that exercise is more for toning the body and keeping in shape, because before I had actually tried relying on exercise to lose weight, and it was really taking me nowhere. I found out that a change of diet was actually much more effective. So now I am on light exercise, light aerobics, just for the cardiovascular system. So that's what I've been doing. Really, just small walk,
small
walking.
Steps.
Yes, because that's one thing I believe in. Yes, I believe in small steps, because we know that the weight gain didn't just happen overnight. It took time. So I believe that the process of weight loss
should be steady and consistent.
And when it goes, that makes it more difficult to come back.
Well, I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the very best in losing the residual weight that you still have to lose. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.